Hello everyone, very good morning. Welcome to the orientation session for anthropology. So we'll look at various things, why anthropology, what are the advantages and what should be done and how we are going to cover it. So all those things we are going to discuss. But first of all, I would like to ask that like how did you come across anthropology or where did you hear it for the first time? So do you know the subject before or only after entering into the UPSC domain you heard about anthropology? Right. Okay. Okay. Mhm. All right. So we are going to look at this is the broad outline of the session. Why anthropology optional and what are the things that are there within anthropology and how we should do and how do people become topper in anthropology. So what approach they follow. So based on the learnings and observations of most of the people since 7 8 years, how people are getting 300 plus. So based on that, we'll try to understand what is the topper's mindset and then what we are doing and how this will cover all these things. Okay. So these are the people who have topped in anthropology in the last 2 3 years. So if you see this year, it is All India highest in anthropology is 298, and that's from the foundation batch of Anthro 555. Okay, so it's not from the previous batch. He is the student of 2024 foundation batch. So within 1 year, topping anthropology is not so easy. That too from a foundation. You might be seeing topper. They might have been doing it the optional for 3 years or 4 years. Then they might be topping it. But topping it for the first time from the foundation, it's not so easy. So this year foundation topper, the topper of anthropology is from the foundation batch itself. And even the third highest of anthropology is also from the Anthro 555, but it is advanced batch. So is part of the test series also. So this is with respect to 2024. And if you see, this is 298 this year, but this 298, if you see, it is equal to 320 plus in rest of the years. This year optional hasn't been given that good marks compared to previous year, and you see parallelly the other options PSIR, sociology, geography. Okay, even those optionals also scored lesser than anthropology. So that means optional is doing well, and compared to all other optionals, it is doing much better. There might be general tendency or view that optional is not performing. It's not that. You see relatively it is performing much better than all others. Okay, so that's one thing. And next, if you see paper 2 generally is seen as one of the toughest part. Paper 1 anyhow people will score because it's more objective. Okay, but paper 2 you see the scores to be very less. Okay, and if you see the scores here, it is 156. Okay, if you see the scores, it is 156, and here also you notice 145, and there are many students who didn't get selected, but their scores are also 150 plus in paper, and even in paper 1, they scored good in anthropology 270 plus, that is equal to somewhere around 290 in the normal years. So because of other subjects, you should perform in other GS essay also, right? So in order to get the rank, for those reasons they missed it. But I am very confident that they are going to make it this year, and they are giving the mains this year also. Okay, and along with them, you see in 2023. So same 555 student Benzo, he got 59th rank. He scored 300 plus in optional. Okay, again, so one thing is clear that what we are doing is giving the result. And these are only few toppers I have mentioned, but you can see the average score of entire batch, average score is not less than 250. So anybody who did Anthro 555 properly, very diligent, and if they have given the exam, they did not score less than 250 at any cost, be it whatever the kind of paper it may be. So that means the things are very much tested, okay, and people are trusting because it has been observed in the past and it has worked, okay. So these are the toppers of 2023 and 2024. You have multiple rankers, and even this year also we have around 25 to 30 rankers who are giving mains, and they are working with us with Anthro 555, okay. So there are many people, and we are expecting very good results this year also. So why one should choose Anthropology Optional? If you see every year you will be observing around at least 2 to 3 people under top 10, and below 100 not less than 10 people, right, even more. So anthropology has become the topper's paradise, right? You see, like 2020, Shubham Kumar sir has scored the first rank, right, with anthropology. And this recent years, you notice third rank Ananya Reddy ma'am also, and Uma Harati ma'am also. They are with anthropology. This year also, you notice some of the rank 9, 7, those things are there. I don't remember exactly 7 is anthropology or not, but still. So though here we got rank wise, though it's less, but score wise we topped it. And if you have seen that, what made a difference here, okay, so his scores in essay, oh sorry, his scores in interview here made a difference. If he had got 190 or 200 here, he would have been in top 10. So the problem is not with the anthropology here, but with overall performance. So it has become topper's paradise. If assume that he has not got that 298 in anthropology, where would have been landed? He is below 100 now. Where he would have been if he would not have got that 298 score. So anthro most of the times it will become your savior in the crisis. Okay. So then 300 plus you see very frequently the scores, and anthropology is an evolving subject. You know, even recently the judges of high courts are being trained for anthropology because it has got certain humanistic approach which is important for the judges to be chosen. So, generally we have certain bias, the stereotypes through our upbringing, and that bias upbringing will result in our decisions, right? So the same should not happen with the judges, right? Judges should be fair and transparent. So in order to be fair, in order to overcome the bias, there is a need for equal approach, right? So it should be a very fair thing. Judge should not show his bias towards anyone, and the judgment should be in such a way that it is being seen relative, culturally relative. That means you are not getting influenced by your cultural values, rather you are trying to see it very relatively. That means if you are trying to see the recent case, Nimisha Priya case, right, are you aware that in the Middle East she went there, and because of some unfortunate reason she has to give anesthesia related drug to the person, and the person dies, and now they are going to hang her, and they will be forgiven if blood money is given to the family of the person who died. Okay, the blood money is something that the demand made by those people, the family members. So if they can pay, then she will be forgiven. So every culture has its own way of dealing with the things. Every culture has its own way, and India has its own way. We have our own constitution. So here, one thing we should understand here is that anthropology as a subject is evolving, and it is becoming more important. And if you see in all the areas, it is being employed. Anthropology is present everywhere where humans are present. Okay, so anthropology since it becoming an important discipline, it has got certain strategic advantage in the exam also. Since the discipline is getting important, now the priority will be given to it, right? And at the same time, you will see that the papers are designed mostly on the syllabus which is given. So whatever the syllabus that is given, it is designed on it. Sometimes what they have done is they just went an extra mile to ask the contemporary aspect of that. So if you cover that in your class, then you are very much ahead of other optionals. So what does anthropology consist of? The syllabus. So basically we have 5 modules in anthropology. Okay. So the 5 modules include physical anthropology or biological anthropology. You have archaeological anthropology, socio-cultural, Indian, and tribal. So it is related to Indian society part and tribal anthropology. So these are the 5 branches. What we are going to learn. See, the subject is very, very, very interesting. Okay, but every subject will have certain non-entertaining topics. Every subject will have them, but they are important. Okay, in your daily life also, it's not completely entertaining, right? You'll notice the boring part of your life as well. But that you have to lead because it's important. You cannot escape from it. In the similar way, the syllabus also, you have the subject to be very interesting. So in physical anthropology, okay, so first of all, let me begin with what is anthropology. Anthropology, anthro means man, logos means study of. Study of man is anthropology. So study of man is anthropology. But what are you studying of man? You are studying the evolution of man from where he has started, what he is doing, and what is his future going to be. So you are studying 3 things. You are studying the biology, you are studying the social aspects of it, you are studying the cultural aspects of it. So you are studying the evolution of man socially, biologically, and culturally. So now in the physical anthropology or biological anthropology, you are going to study biological evolution of man. Biological evolution means where did we originate? Who is our ancestor? Did we walk on 2 legs before? Or did we walk on 4 limbs? What changes created us today? What changes have happened in order to become bipedal? So we are walking on 2 legs. Bipedal means walking on 2 legs, right? So what changes have happened so far in order to become bipedal? We are going to understand these things. Who are our ancestors? If there are our ancestors, how are we related to them? Were they having diseases like us? Are the diseases same in the past and present? Are they different? Did they used to sleep during the nights only, or they used to sleep during the daytime also? What was their sleep cycle? What was their diet? What kind of political system or economic system or religious system they had? Did they had language, or when did the language come? At what point of time you notice the evolution of language? So biological anthropology also tries to understand the influence of culture on it. See, I'll tell you one example. there was discovery of fire. So sometimes naturally two stones might have hit and they might have noticed a spark, and that led to the fire, right? So they might have understood that when two stones are hit, it will give rise to fire. So they discovered the fire. So when the fire was discovered, what happened? It will lead to the spending of more time together during the night. So when people stay together, when they are in groups, a kind of bond will form, and that will help in hunting the animals better. At the same time, now the food that is brought, they'll cook. Previously, what used to happen, your digestive system was very complex. It was not so easy, and your jaw size was very large, because you should eat raw food, very strong food, and at the same time, that used to consist of so many pathogens. The pathogens, if they have to, if your body has to tolerate, in the past, your digestive system should be complex. Now, when the fire was invented, now they used to burn the food, all the pathogens used to die. At the same time, the food became soft. When the softness increased, the load on the jaws decreased. Over a period of time, when the jaws relevance was less, so it started becoming small. So biological evolution has an impact of cultural evolution on it. So discovery of fire has an impact on your body, how your body got changed. So here we are going to understand how biological factors and cultural factors are going to interact with each other, and who are the ancestors, where did we come from. So now there is one person, Sherwood Washburn, who says that the path to understand humans is through the forest of primates. So if you see the primates, chimpanzees, gorillas, orangutans, he says that if you want to understand humans, it is through the forest of primates. You have to understand the primates better. And when it is studied carefully, you notice chromosome number 22 in chimpanzees is similar to chromosome number 21 in humans. So when there are three chromosomes, 21 at 21 position in humans, by mistake, if you have three chromosomes, you will have a disease known as Down syndrome. But now the same if it is in chimpanzees at 22, then they will have Down syndrome. So it helps us understand how our ancestors were present, how are we related to it, and when did the separation happen, what is the period, and what were the technologies, how did it develop, how the culture developed over a period of time. We'll be understanding there in the physical anthropology. Okay, we'll study about the genetics. Okay, we'll study that how many genes are there, which gene influences what kind of life. So if any change happens, what disease does it lead to? So if any chromosome gets affected or number changes, what problems it would lead to? At the same time, we'll see that are we able to survive in all the kinds of climates, cold, hot, high altitude, low altitude. If we are able to do, how did we develop that ability? All of a sudden you go to the Ladakh, Kashmir area and you are able to adapt there. What is happening to your body? Is it possible for everybody to do that? If you have to survive in those cold temperatures, or if they have to survive in the hot deserts of Africa, what changes happens in the body? And are these changes recent or of recent origin, or they were present since the times of our ancestors? So the fossils that are being discovered, you will be seeing that in the news. You might be seeing in prelims also. There was one Dennis Owens question in the prelims few years back. So that is related to the human fossil only. So the thing is that here you will be understanding a holistic development of human. So in biological anthropology, you will see their interrelation. If you say recently, there was one book that is published, that is Digital Anthropology. Okay, that was written by Heather Host and Daniel Miller. In that, what they have done, they have conducted an experiment. They have conducted an experiment. The experiment talks about the usage of Instagram and the TikTok. So they have conducted for 1 decade. They have seen that a girl who is using the Instagram and flicking continuously for 5 hours, 6 hours a day. And then after 2 years, see, nobody bothers about what's happening within the brain, right? Now, within inside the head, only you just enjoy it. But what's happening inside the head, we are never bothered. So now, when they studied the imagings of the girl, so they have conducted the test and they observed that within the brain there is a part known as amygdala. Amygdala is developed in the process of evolution to make decisions and to protect yourself from the dangers. In the times of danger, to overcome the fear, it will help in making better decisions. And after 2 years of usage, the girl continuously, it has shrunk by 12%. The area shrunk, the amygdala shrunk by 12%. And the mind is also so confused because there is content overload continuously. On the internet, there is content overload. Now, your cerebral cortex is confused. Previously, through information, you used to make decision, but now you are made so confused, you cannot make a proper decision. So these are the results out of your culture. See, technology is made by humans, and it is part of culture. But what is it leading to? Changes in the biological aspect. So you'll understand all these things in the physical anthropology. We'll see that how the physical anthropology helps in other parts of our life. We'll see that in design, if you are sitting, the chair has been designed. So the chair has been designed based on ergonomics. So the ergonomic design involves the anthropologist. So what design has to be made? So if you see, space suits are made. So for space suits, what kind of space suit should be made for which size of the person? And cockpit designs in the planes, jet planes. So cockpits are also designed. So it helps in design, and you can see that in selection of people for sports also, they will observe the body shape, size and function and relation to the sport. Who can perform better? Even recently, the Coco tournament that was happened in South Zone. Okay, so in the Pondicherry University, some of the anthropologists have conducted the experiment and they have taken some tests. So they conducted some agility tests. So you have to stand and jump. They used to see your leg explosivity and agility by sprint. They'll observe it and they'll say that the performance of your test, so your size, shape, and function is directly related. So that means which person fits for what kind of sport. For football, what are the things that you have to have? What are the criteria? For skating, what are the things? For gymnastics, which people are more suitable? So here you will be applying the knowledge of anthropology in multiple cases. So even if you say recent Ahmedabad plane crash, how did they identify the people? Using DNA testing. So who are the people involved there? Anthropologists, forensic anthropologists. So anthropology is all around, and here you will be learning the different aspects of it mentioned in the syllabus, which are interesting. But sometimes you will be having certain technicalities. Those technicalities we have to just journey through, understand it, and sometimes in some areas you might be facing little trouble. But other than that, rest of the things are going to be simple. And be it from any background, you be it from engineering background, humanities background, whatever the background you may be, you need not worry that you're not good at biology, because you are going to learn from scratch. You are going to learn from scratch. From the cell, everything is going to be taught as if you don't know anything. Irrespective of the background, still you can fare well in the biological anthropology. Okay, so one more thing here, whatever you learn in your GS as a part of your science and technology, that is the level of biology you should know for anthropology also. You need not know more than that. Biotechnology you have to read in science and technology. If you can understand biotechnology, then biology is easily biological anthropology is easily understood. So irrespective of your background, you can easily learn this. You need not worry about it. At the same time, it is simple also, it's not that difficult. Generally, it is demonized by most of the people that biology. There is no biology, it's more of biological anthropology. So biology is just taken to understand what is it, but its application is learned in anthropology. I told you, right, forensic anthropology. So forensic anthropology tries to identify who is the criminal, who is the parent, by taking at the crime scene. They'll collect some sample, they'll take the they'll conduct a test. Okay, so there they'll be seeing the DNA pattern, and they'll suspect somebody. They'll bring that suspect, and they'll try to check the DNA of that person. If both are matching, then the person is considered as a criminal, right? So we are learning about the application, not more about the DNA part. So DNA is understood. You should know what is DNA, what are the base pairs, how they are checking, but more interest is on application. Okay, so this is with respect to biological anthropology. Then you have archaeological anthropology. Archaeology, you know, right? Excavations are done, and the tools and artifacts are found, and those artifacts, to which period they belong, who might be the person, and you have stone tools. In the past, it was direct crude stones that were used, and slowly what they've done, they've broken into pieces, and they started using the sharp parts of it. So that is called as flake, and now those flakes are further designed. Okay, and hand axes. So stone is sharpened from both edges, and they developed a hand axe. And at the same time, you see that at certain point of time, small stones have been made, very small stones. Those are called as microliths. Okay, you have microliths. Microliths, why did they come up? Why the stones suddenly got changed from large size to small? What are the reasons? So we'll try to understand during which environment what kind of stones have been present. So there we'll try to analyze that. Okay, it was observed that during the Mesozoic era there was a change of temperature, and suddenly ice got replaced with water. Now people cannot move longer, and there were animals. There was change in animals also. The small birds which were flying was seen. Now, if you have to hit a bird, you cannot hit with a larger stone. You need something very small, right? So, what do you call other than boomerang? What is the name of it in English? Caterpillar, right? So, caterpillar. So, how did they develop the caterpillar? It is from the observation of nature, that they used to see the trees bending and coming back very quickly. So now they might have taken a branch of a tree, and they might have tied these small stones to it, and they might have used this technology. So the observation was replicated from the nature. So we'll try to understand that how the nature influenced the cultural developments, how the technology of the stone tools changed over a period of time. We'll observe who was the man present then. Okay, we evolved as a humans, Homo sapiens, now in the recent 30, 40, 50,000 years. But before, in the lakhs of years ago, who were the person present at that point of time? Who made those tools, and what kind of tools are made? So those all things we'll learn in archaeological anthropology. We'll see through the archaeological findings how we are related to other people in the different continents. So we'll see that, are we having same technology there and here in the past lakhs of years ago? Was, if there are same stone tools, same kind of things that are found here and as well as in the other continents, then you will always find a correlation between them, right? So maybe at some point of time they are in contact with each other. So these all things you will be learning in archaeological anthropology. Then you have socio-cultural anthropology. Socio-cultural is nothing but society, right? So in the society, what all you have? You have marriage, family, kinship. Okay, so you have blood relationships with others, right? Those kinship is nothing but kins, and relationship between them is kinship. And then you have economic organization, you have political organization, you have religious organization. But were they same as now? In the past, were they same? Where did it start? How did marriage come into picture? Was there marriage before? Was there marriage before, or humans created the marriage? See, there are multiple views to it. There is no one single view, but there are multiple views. If you look at among the penguins, you'll see the single pair throughout the life. In many other mammals also, you'll see the single pair throughout the life. Now, is it humans that who have created the marriage? What is marriage? Marriage is nothing but a commitment of a partner to stay throughout the life, help her in the upbringing of their children and take care of the person. So, this commitment, did it start before or humans have made it? We notice in the animals also, right? So, we notice in the birds also, in many mammals. So, we'll try to understand where did it start, how did it start, what are the different types of marriages. So there is polyandry. So one woman having multiple husbands. You notice Draupadi, right? Multiple husbands. But is it in reality? Do you notice it? You do notice it among some of the tribes of India, Khasas of Uttarakhand, Himachal region. They practice polyandry. They believe that they are ancestors of the Draupadi. But though they believe that, the reasons, scientific reasons are different. When anthropologists go there and study them, they have said that it is because of the environment that is there, and harsh environments leads to polyandry because one person cannot bring the resources sufficient for sustenance. So you'll be studying different types of marriages. There are multiple types. Polygyny, that means one man marrying multiple females. What is the reason behind it? And in the past there used to be one thing, levirate and sororate marriages. So husband, wife, when husband dies, husband's brother is married. So that is called as levirate marriage. Why is this done? Okay, it is practice, that's fine. But what is the reason behind it? So we'll try to understand why we follow monogamy, why only one man, one woman is being most popularly followed. What is the reason behind it? And why there are some regions or why there are some tribes or some communities who are following it differently? What is the reasons behind it? So we'll try to understand. We'll see that we are worshipping the God, right? So we see the religion now. But what is the earliest form of religion? Did they think of God in the beginning itself? What is the earliest form? So we'll try to understand whether magic was present in the beginning, whether religion and magic both together can they coexist. So where did the religion come from? Where did the worshipping of, where did the belief in worship or supernatural? So religion is nothing but belief in supernatural. Anything that is not natural, you start thinking about it and believing in it, that is religion. It is not just belief in God itself. Anything that is not natural, that means you are religious. So Ram Gopal Verma is religious. Though he believes in demon or devils, they are supernatural only, they are not natural. So even then he is also religious. So anthropological understanding of religion is bit different from the normal understanding. Okay. So again we study economic organization. In the initial days, what was the kind of living pattern? What technology they used? So there were hunter gatherers in the beginning. Then we have pastoralists where domestication of animals has begun, and they used to move from one place to another. And later on, we have seen the people settling at one place, then developing the agriculture, settled agriculture. So these developments have happened. But how did they happen? What are the features? Who are the people across India? Who are the people across the world practicing different kinds of economic organization? Then we have political organization. In political organization, what do you notice? You notice that there are some tribes who live isolated, they are not related to the state. They are some 10-20 people only. Then there is no law, there is no justice, no police, no judiciary, nothing. How do they maintain social order, harmony among them? People can fight with each other, right? But why they are not fighting with each other? How are they able to maintain that social harmony? Even without police, even without judiciary or any kind of law. So we'll understand how they used to live in harmony in the past and how this changes happened over a period of time with increase in size. When population increases, it becomes so now when 20 people are there, they'll give rise to birth of new people. It will become a lineage. Okay, so now two lineages. That means two brothers giving rise to multiple people. So you have two lineages. They'll combine to form a group, bigger group. Now the bigger group will again lead to forming of bigger group. So you'll be having bigger. Now the same kind of harmony is again seen. But what is the difference? Do they have any law there now? Did they develop? So now we'll understand how this law got evolved over a period of time. Today we have laws which will prevent us from doing something wrong. But what was it in the past? So it was through tradition and customs. But tradition and customs, what kind of traditions and customs? If the violation happens, how the punishment is done, how the justice is delivered. So what kind of punishments used to be present in the past? How they used to identify evidence? You need evidence if you have to punish somebody. What is their way of evidence? So these all things we learn in the political organization. Okay, and then you have religion. So you have about language. So how did the language evolve? What are the reasons? So you'll be learning about that. That you will be learning in socio-cultural anthropology. Then you have Indian and tribal anthropology. So you'll be studying about Indians. Same whatever you learned in physical anthropology and socio-cultural anthropology, archaeology, you'll learn its applications with respect to Indians. Okay, you'll study Indian society and you'll be studying the tribal society, mainstream and the tribal. So these are the 5 branches you will be having in the syllabus. These are interesting. You will be in Indian anthropology. You will be studying about caste. Caste is very rigid, right? You cannot change your caste. By birth, you will be given your caste. Now, can you change your caste? So there are certain phenomena which have been described by people that people can change their caste. Okay, so those all things we are going to study, and modernization, globalization has impacted the people. What impact did it lead to? How the changes have happened? Even with respect to tribes also, you notice that there are many conversions, religious conversions happening. Why are people getting converted? And if they are getting converted, what are the reasons behind it? And what is the impact you notice on people who are getting converted? So these all things you will be understanding in the paper too. So overall subject is simple, you will be understanding it, but it needs little effort, that's it. So if you can maintain discipline for 4 to 5 months and giving 4 5 hours, then your subject is complete. Okay, so you can notice that there was one question regarding civilization in UPSC essay, right? Culture and civilization, how are they related? The relationship between them is asked as a question. And every year you notice one or the other topic related to anthropology appears in philosophical questions. So lot of information that is there in anthropology becomes relevant for essay writing. And second thing is that you are studying Indian society here, so your Indian society part is covered directly. You are studying biotechnology part, your science and technology part is covered here, right? So you are reading about tribals, your social justice part is covered, tribal anthropology. So almost around 150 to 200 marks are overlapping in the syllabus that is given in the GS from anthropology. People think that it doesn't have overlap, but it is. Indian society is complete overlap. You will be reading marriage, family, kinship, caste, Sanskritization process. So how the caste changed over a period of time. Tribals also you will be studying. So you will be studying in detail. You need not study much in your Indian society part. Okay, and tribal part is also overlapping. In science and technology also it is overlapping. So you will be seeing lot of overlap with respect to GS part. So generally it is a notion that there is no overlap, but good amount of syllabus overlaps with the GS also. And the examples that you study, the case studies that you study, Make your essay unique when you present them. Okay, you should not overdo it in essay. You should keep it general only, but your viewpoint is completely different compared to others. So that gives an edge. Okay, and the dynamic aspect these days, you notice the syllabus is going an extra mile to ask the contemporary. So in the class itself, we'll cover that contemporary aspect. So once you are prepared with all these things, okay, so Anthro becomes a simple subject for all of you. So how to prepare? First, develop the mindset that you need. See, first thing, what problems generally aspirants face? What problems they face is that you might have learned so many things in your life so far. So based on that, if I ask you to write an essay, people won't be able to write. They may be writing, but they know that they'll say, I can write it better. I know it much better than what I have written, but I could not do. So the problem is articulation, articulation of things. So articulation of things will happen when you understand it clearly and do it by yourself. So prepare your mindset in such a way that you are dedicating yourself to the optional for 4 months and for certain period of time. Okay, you are going to dedicate. After that, your time can reduce. For 4 months, you have to give good effort. After that, you can reduce the time. Now, if you are giving 4 to 5 hours, then you can bring it to 2, 2.5, and slowly reduce it to 1 hour also for revision. But initially, if you have to be good at it, develop the mindset that it takes discipline, it takes certain amount of time. So first fix it. Tomorrow after starting, don't feel that you are giving time and again you don't have time for other things. Generally people see this tuffle between the GS and optional. Once they start optional, they say that GS we are not able to do. And once they do GS, they think about optional. Don't worry about it. Plan well. For 4 months, give time to optional. Then you give to GS. Rest you have 8 to 10 months, right? So for 4 months you give for optional. Then rest you can give to GS. So priority should be given to one thing at one point of time. When you are doing your optional, do it properly. Then you switch to other thing. Later on, you can reduce the time. You can give priority to GS and reduce time for optional. You can just revise and practice. That would be sufficient. Then the approach that you have to follow. First, conceptual clarity. Whatever you are reading, be it any minute thing, you should understand it first. Or else you can never remember because you have GS 1, 2, 3, 4 and essay, then optional. Paper 1, paper 2. Within that 5 modules. If you have to remember, you have to understand it first. Anything that you understand, you'll remember better. First thing. Once you have understood it, then you should have the notes for it. So after the class, you have to make the notes. Everything will be taught, all the concepts will be explained, but you have to make notes out of it. Okay, and then after making notes, so now it's in your mind, you have made your notes. If you don't revise, you'll forget quickly. So just go home and revise once. It would hardly take time, and then it is good that you know it, you revise, you remember. But if you can't replicate or if you can't articulate, then there is no point. Ultimately, examiner is going to see your paper only. He is not going to talk with you. So your answer or your work should reflect on the paper. It should reflect on the paper. So in order to reflect, you need practice. So these all things you have to do. Conceptual clarity, then notes, revision, and writing. This should happen on the same day. Once you attend the class, you understood, you'll go and make notes. For 15 minutes, you revise, and another 20 minutes, you take 1 or 2 questions from what is taught, write the answer. You write good answer, bad answer, worst answer. Doesn't matter. Start writing. Initially, you won't see any result. Initially, you won't see any result. Zero. Day 1, 0. Day 10, 0. Day 20, 0. Day 30 also 0. but day 40 you'll be start seeing the result, and day 50 you'll reach 75%, and day 100 you'll reach around 70 to 80%. But people will give up in 10th day or 15th day itself, assuming that they are not improving in their process. So actions and time has correlation here. Results will take time. So just wait for the results. Be patient enough. You will be seeing the result. And everybody has been patient. All those people who have succeeded, they have been patient. They have continuously worked to improve. So I would suggest that just develop that mindset that it will take some time because you are in the beginning, because you don't see the result. Like you see many Instagram posts these days, right? You'll reach the end and you'll give up. So same is the case here also. So for 10 days you have done. Another 10 days if you do, it will become a habit. 21 days if you do something, it will become an habit. So you are just living 10 days before. Once you develop an habit, if you continue for another 15-20 days, you'll start seeing the result. So don't give up in the beginning, just do it. After doing for 40-50 days, if still the results are not there, in the meantime, anyhow, you'll be consulting, improvements will be set. But this is important. Okay. So do answer writing, and at the same time, keep in mind that in the beginning, the results are not going to appear. It will take little time. And this patience is needed. That's what UPSC tests. One thing is discipline, and other is patience. Anybody who is consistent and who is patient enough, they have seen the result. So the target score should always be 300 plus, because it is very much possible. In the course, I always say that try to be with the mindset of scoring 300 plus. What happens, on the day one, the student will come, they'll attend. They won't understand the things completely. From the day two or day three, they start comparing with other people what they are doing. The approach that we are taking is to target 300 plus, and the results are also shown. It's not like we are only taking the approach and there is no result. There are results and it has been proven. So if it has been proven, then the approach that is being taken should be followed diligently, and be with this mindset only, that you are targeting 300 plus. By any chance, if you fail, you might fall in 280 to 300, but it should not go below that. So targeting 300 plus needs good amount of effort. See, I told you, right? It can be your savior, even when GS and other papers may not help you. Even sometimes interview may go wrong. In that case also, anthropology becomes savior. And many people you can see just because of anthropology. Uma Harati ma'am has changed from geography to anthropology. She topped rank 3. And you see Andip Durishetty sir, again he also topped. Okay, so there are many people. Even Abhishek Singh, civil engineering to anthropology, he topped this year anthropology. So the thing is that anybody who has given good efforts and who kept the target, he used to ask always, "Sir, will I be scoring 300 plus?" He was very skeptical. So everybody will be skeptical, right? Unless and until you write and get the score. Regularly, this was the question. Only thing is that trusting the process and doing it will give the result. So trust the process, the results will automatically come. So toppers mindset, preparation, smart choices, answer writing. This I've told you, right? So in the process of preparation, you should always be disciplined, consistent, and especially with respect to notes making. Don't borrow others' notes. Don't copy others' notes. Try to do your. In the beginning, you'll make your worst notes. The notes will be very bad. You only won't like your notes. But the second notes and second iteration and third iteration, it will improve so much. So you are going to learn things in the process of making it. That will make you a topper. Every topper has their notes, right? That is the reason you'll ask toppers notes. So if you want to become a topper, you should be in that mindset. and always make smart choices. What people do is, for one topic which they are interested, they'll spend plenty of time. Suppose marriage is interesting. Hardly you should spend 4 hours on it maximum. Now, what people do? They'll study marriage chapter for a month. Outcome, what is the outcome? Return on investment. How much time you are investing and what is your outcome? So make smart choices. Try to invest where you should exactly do. So that's why when we are discussing in the class, I'll tell you this is the important area, this is the important area where you should go and work upon. So accordingly invest your time. Don't invest based on your interest. Don't do what you like. Do what UPSC is demanding. Do what will fetch you the score. Many a times we try to do what we like, what we feel comfortable, but ultimately you're targeting to clear the exam, right? So if you're not targeting to clear the exam, then you can do what you want. Nobody is going to oppose you. This is your choice, right? You're making choice to choose anthropology and work on it. So that's why make smart choices and try to follow what's the right. And answer writing, I'll tell you, even this year topper has done answer writing rigorously, rank 1. Okay, first example you have that irrespective of failing in prelims, she didn't stop practicing for mains. That's what made her topper today. And at the same time, there was one more topper, Kaushik Narsimha. Like he was his GS topper. GS2 he got 124 or 125. In ethics he got 130. Okay. So these were one of the highest scores. And he was the topper of GS. So even what did he do to top? He just used to write 8 to 9 questions every day. Every day. And he says that he cried many times when he felt like, because you don't feel like writing every day, right? But he didn't stop, rather he cried. So it takes that effort. Every topper does answer writing. Okay, every topper does. And I would suggest, if you want to be a topper, please try to do it. Be in that mindset, be dedicated, and try to make smart choice. Don't go with what you like. Try to do what is being demanded in the exam. So actually, answer copies, I'll share it with you. So you can go through the answer copies of the toppers. Okay. So those toppers copies, if you see how they have written the answers, even those answers are not the best. He has written further answers also. Even they have got improvement. You can see the level of practice they must have done to reach that. So you should also put that effort. So what we are going to do in Anthro 555. So we have seen how people become topper and what they do, what is their mindset. So in order to incorporate all those things, okay. So first thing is conceptual clarity. So you'll have foundation first, and then enrichment, basics, enrichment, and whatever you read. First, conceptual clarity in the class, basics are done. Along with that, you have advanced enrichment, and now basics and advanced combined together are integrated and made to practice in the answer rate. So you will be having tests. At the same time, I'll be giving you some questions where I'll be asking you to write where you have to combine both basics and advanced, right? So that's important. So combination of basics and advanced, not just advanced information or enrichment is good. Without basics, enrichment is useless. Examiner will not give even 1 2 marks also if you just write the advanced part without addressing what is the question asked. So demand is important. So basic conceptual clarity is important. So in the class you will get the conceptual clarity, basics are covered, advanced are covered, and the integration of it is practiced as well. So first clarity, then how to connect with different topics, and at the same time you should present it in UPSC style. Though you understand it, you can connect it, but if you cannot present in the style of UPSC, whatever the effort that you have done will not turn out to results. So it's important, and at the same time contextualization. you are studying something in the class. Okay. In the answers, liveliness, how does it come? When you talk, what is happening in your real life, right? So I told you some example. You are more able to connect because of some recent example, Ahmedabad plane crash. You are able to connect with it because it is contextualized. So these things are important. So here in the class, you'll learn all these things. How you have to understand it, and developing the connection with other parts of the syllabus, linking paper 1 and paper 2, and one topic of the syllabus with the other topic within the paper, intra paper and inter paper. And then you'll understand what is the composition, how to present it in UPSC style. And at the same time, you'll also know the contextualization. So these all things are learned. And you can see this, the work is not done randomly. We don't prepare randomly. Rather, based on the PYQ trends analysis, then on the basis of the trends of PYQs, we'll try to see what are the most important areas, and accordingly, in those topics, we'll try to go an extra. See, some topics are straightforward. They're asking the basics only. If in 10-15 years they did not change it, so then if you try to do too much depth in those topics, it is waste of your time. Rather, if there are topics where UPSC is asking dynamic aspect, so you should know which area we have to do extra and which area we have to restrict ourselves, because we are not doing PhD here. You are not here to do PhD. You have to learn the dynamic aspect, but that's my job to bring it to you. You need not do anything. You need not read the research papers. It is my job. I'll go through and I'll bring it to you, and I'll give you the dynamic concept. But we should know how much to read and where should stop. Where should we stop? Okay, so that is very important. And at the same time, core themes, you should have the command, not just understanding the trends and having the command, but at the same time, there are certain unconventional questions every year in the paper. How to tackle them? So, in order to tackle them, we will be having certain templates. If this kind of question comes, so what should be our approach? What should be our intro body and conclusion style? And which topics we can interlink there? We are going to learn them. And at the same time, answer writing practice. See, this is again emphasize which you have to do. And at the same time, you should have your ready notes with you, and I'll also try to give you a set of questions, and through that I'll help you make skeletons for the answers. Suppose this is the question, race is a question. Now how to answer it? What should be the introduction? Who should be the scholar? And what should be your body? What should be the additional information compared to others so that you get an additional 2 marks? And what should be the so these kind of skeletons we'll be doing, and you'll be having ready-made things for the exam by the end of your preparation. Okay, so first thing, we have understood that conceptual clarity is done within the class, basics advanced are covered, and your answer writing is there. At the same time, while doing the class, there itself we will be covering the relevant PYQs. Suppose there is a topic and there has been PYQs on it, so I'll be telling you this is the kind of question they'll be asking, and this topic, whatever we have read, you have to utilize in so and so way for writing introduction, body, and conclusion. This will help you answer. So we'll be taking PYQs then and there, and what are the emerging trends. And whenever you have any problem, so you have attended the class, you have went through the class and you made notes, you have practiced, but still you might be facing certain issues. So it's all personal, right? So not everybody is same. So you might be having your own personal problem, so which you can bring it to my notice, and one-on-one mentorship is available. So once you tell the admin, they'll arrange a slot for you, so you can come and discuss your problems. So we have one-on-one mentorship, and you have answer writing, daily answer writing for self-assessment, and you have tests also. After every module, you have 250 marks test. So what are the sources that one has to refer? See, those who are being part of the program, they need not refer anything. You need not read any resources. Everything is covered in the class. You just need to follow the class and become perfect at it, and additional things are given within the class only. Okay, so you need not do anything. But somebody who think of preparing by their own, then in that case you have to just keep in mind regarding these things. So you have socio-cultural anthropology. For socio-cultural anthropology, it is igno material, ignomaterial or EPG Pathshala. Okay, this you can read, and for extra information you can refer to ResearchGate and JSTOR. So these research articles will help you give value addition to your notes. Okay, and then you have physical anthropology or biological anthropology. Again, it is IGNO and EPG Pathshala. For value addition, you can use ResearchGate, JSTOR. Along with this, one book, if you can read, you can, for reference, you can use Steen and Rowe. See, generally people say that use Spinner, but my suggestion would be Steen and Rowe. And you can also use BM Das. This is also good book. So these are the books that you can use for biological anthropology. And coming to archaeology you can refer to D.K. Bhattacharya. Archaeological anthropology, you can refer to D.K. Bhattacharya's book, Indian Prehistory. This is a good book. And then Indian Anthropology in paper 2. Here again it's IGNO, EPG Pathshala. Okay. Along with this, you can read EPW, Economic and Political Weekly articles on village, caste. So they will help you in understanding the Indian anthropology better. Okay, so for village unit, see for caste and villages, EPW articles are good, and there are articles of Surinder S. Jodka. So his articles are also good. You can read them to understand the chapters better. See, somebody who is coming to the class, don't do any experiment. Everything will be discussed in the class itself. But some people want to prepare on their own. So for those people, I am trying to help them. Okay, so this is with respect to Indian anthropology. Then you have tribal anthropology. For tribal anthropology, here again it is IGNO EPG Pathshala. Okay, along with this, Nadim Hasnain. If people are very basic, then they can go to Nadim Hasnain. One book I would suggest is book by Virginius Kaka, The State, Society and the Tribes. Okay, so a book by Kaka, that is State, Society and Tribes. See, in tribal anthropology, what is most important is that emotion. So everybody knows the subject very easily. They'll write it very easy, but the emotion doesn't flow over them. So examiner should feel, if you're writing tribal problem, you should feel the problem, and examiner also should feel that problem. Okay. So that emotion can only come when you read certain amount of literature. So you can read any of the books, good books of tribals. So that will help you understand their problems. Then you will connect to it. So when you are experiencing it, then your emotion will flow. Okay. So in the class, I'll be providing you some, but those who are not part of the classes, I would suggest that read some books of tribal anthropology so that you connect to their problems. Read some regular books, not anthropology related, because you should see the real problem of them, you should feel them. Okay, you can read the articles from down to earth also. There also the problems of the tribals are well discussed. So these are the sources of anthropology and reference materials we have discussed. So overall, the key deliverables of Anthro 555 program, one is classes, 250 plus hours of classes are there. So where we'll try to cover in 3 to 4 months of span. Okay, and then you have anthropology PYQs being discussed, and the handouts are given in the class. See, I'll give you the handouts, but at the same time, what's most important is making self notes. Okay, handouts are given, comprehensive handouts are given, all the information are there, but you cannot write in your own words. If you cannot do it by yourself, you'll start remembering them. What you'll do, you'll take the handout, you'll start remembering. So if somebody is doing self preparation also, what I would suggest is that even if you're taking any material, try to do it on your own voice. Try to put your pen and paper, try to think of it and try to write. Okay, then daily assignments, that means daily answer writing questions are provided, and you have one-to-one mentorship. And I told you, right, at the end you'll be having ready-made templates for the questions of intro, body and conclusion. And then for certain case studies, I'll be trying to provide you some quick reference materials. At the end, the full length test after each module is conducted. So conceptual clarity, notes, practice, revision, and you have ready-made templates, and at the end you'll write the full length test. So all the things that are needed, all the things that toppers have done, you will be doing it. Only thing is that trust the process, just move forward. Things will automatically fall in place with time. If you have any doubts, you can ask, I'll take up. So this is with respect to it. So it starts from July 15th. So it's today only. So the orientation session, and from soon we are going to have classes. Thank you. So if you have any doubts, see, you can contact on this number also. You can reach out on the website as well. But now you can ask if you have any personal doubts or regarding the preparation of the subject. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. It is what you have said. Understand it and you have to write. Yeah, yeah. See, because there are two things, like there is a traditional approach where people dictate in the class and students write down. What's the problem with this traditional approach? The thing is that you are more focused on writing, you are not understanding the subject. When you are more focused on writing, you are more bothered whether something is missing out, and you look here and there and you lose interest in between. So this is the problem that has been observed, and it did not give results also. So whatever that we are following now is what worked for people. So like who has scored well and who has followed it. So we observed that okay, this is the best method. That first you understand it properly, develop command over the topic. Once you develop command, sitting and making notes is just other thing, right? But without command, you do anything, you have it, right? All the notes with you. Don't you think now the ready-made material is available in the market? You have it. But what's the problem? The command over the subject, you cannot get it through the notes. Only through understanding you can do. So that's why this option has been chosen, that you have to understand first, then try to write. Okay. Naveen, any doubts? Okay then. So this is with respect to orientation. So see you all in the class. Thank you. Online students, if you have any doubts, so you can reach out personally also on the number.